Arrays are fixed-length data structures that store homogeneous data. The word homogeneous in this scenario means that an integer array can only store integer values. A character array can only store characters, etc. An array is also a sequential data structure, which means all the elements are stored in sequential memory order. In simple terms, you may think of an array as a collection of similar variables. Each element of the array is represented as array name 0, array name 1, array name 2, and so on, until array name n-1, where n is the number of elements in the array. The array naming convention follows the same set of rules as other variables. The first element of the array is indexed at 0. In the following example, the array name is num, and the elements are represented as num0, num1, num2, until num length of array minus 1. The general syntax for declaring an array in C is as follows. This type of an array is called a single-dimensional or one-dimensional array. Please note that the size of the array needs to be a positive integer value greater than 0. The data type can be among any of the data types supported by C. For example, if you want to create an array of 10 elements holding integers, the declaration would be as follows. This statement creates an array called array_integer, capable of holding 10 elements. There are a number of ways to add elements to an array. This could be done by initializing one element at a time, or doing it all together in a single statement. Some examples using the array called array_integer are shown here. This creates an array of size 3 with the name array_integer and initializes array_integer 0 as 10, array_integer 1 as 20, array_integer 2 as 30. The size of the array has to be specified inside the square brackets, and the elements have to be assigned inside the curly braces, separated by commas. If the size of the array is not specified in square brackets, an array is created which is large enough to hold the number of elements listed inside the curly braces, 4 elements in this case. An element of the array can be accessed using the index of that element and assigned one at a time to the required values. For example, if you want to access the fourth element of array integer, please note the index of the element is 4 minus 1 equals 3. That statement will take the fourth element from the array and assign it to the variable called fourth element. The value being assessed is an integer value, so that assignment also has to be done to a variable with an integer data type. All the elements of the array can also be accessed using loops in C. The most common loop structure used to access elements of an array is the for loop. Here's an example of a for loop that's used to access elements of the array integer with 4 elements. In that example, the loop counter j iterates across every element of the array from 0 to 3 and prints every element along with its index. Try it yourself using a while loop. This example initializes the elements of the array using a for loop. It then reads all the elements of the array and prints them. The output becomes the following. Arrays are fixed-length data structures that store homogeneous data. Since an array can only contain homogeneous elements, we cannot have arrays with elements of mixed data types. To add elements to an array, one can initialize one element at a time, or do it all together in a single statement. The elements of arrays can be accessed using an index or loops in C. In computer memory, the arrays occupy sequential memory locations. Hence, the indexes of arrays are always in sequential order. The lowest index starts from 0, and the highest is 1 less than the size of the array.